Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome back to the Inside NBA Show. Wednesday's a grit and grind. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome Herbie Bull back again. Matt Morrell, happy birthday. I love the haircut.
Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, it's good to be back. And shout out to Matt Morrell. What a great bloke he is.
Look, Grit and Grind is our weekly show previewing the games forward and helping you win your week. Today, due to the IST going on, we're going to give you a little game review over those couple of games. As always, we're brought here today by the Squeeze, Ryan from Astute Newstead, and Bonus Bank. How are you, mate? How was your day?
Yeah, good, brother. Worked from home today, which was great. So I actually watched 2 full games while working. So hopefully my manager's not watching this. But yeah, I just did what you did, had the radio on, quote unquote. Wasn't true. I was very, very heavily invested in both games today. So yeah, great games. Both of them. Julius Randle, Jesus Christ, he was just on fire. But we'll get to that. It's been good. So let's get to business.
Yeah. I was going to say I had to hit a golf, but thanks for asking, you piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. Nah,
mate,
you're the boss in your place, so you just do what you want, Us peasants to take what we can get.
We did. I did go for a steak for lunch with a rep, and then I waited. I actually worked till 5:30, but up here in Queensland, we had sunlight for another hour and a half, so I got about 9 holes in. Popped in the golf cart, had about 4 bolters on the way around, and missed a few birdie putts. So yeah,
look, like you.
It is actually. We're covering the 2 IST games today. We're going to delve in all the games tomorrow, and we're going to do our transaction trends. The great news is we have all these sponsors that we chat about, but I want to shout out a couple of our own shows now that we've got so many shows going. Mick and Braino with the BBL show was just doing fantastic work. Have a crack at winning some money with the BBL show. Starts Thursday here in Australia, and our cricket show. I tell you what, they're in good hands. I sat there the whole thing. I was glued to it.
Mate, how good was it? We've got BBL starting tomorrow. Finally, some action's going to happen. We've been missing it since footy and NRL's stopped. So, yeah, good to crack in. The boys are doing a great job.
Yeah, and I just finished the NBL show with Hammer, so was thoroughly enjoying that. I love his. You should hear him talk about all his ex-girlfriends, mate.
I've heard a story or two, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Mate, but the IST game review brought here today by the Standard Squeeze. Use Insight 15 to get a discount. I know I've got my squeezes all here. You're using yours there. I've got hats and all sorts of the stuff that Ash has hooked us up with. But let's head into the first game. You've already alluded to the fact that Julius Randle was very good, but the Bucks come away with the chocolates.
Mate, what a game, honestly. I'm a punting man, and I was on Giannis for most points, and I was pretty confident. And yeah, Julius Randle just did what he normally doesn't do. He just did not miss a shot. He was like, I think he was 9 of 9 or 10 of 10 to start the game. It was just ridiculous. And I was like, well, he's going to get the most points from here on out. Like, that type of player is just going to like get the ball, be a bull, see red, and just go for the bucket each time. But he finished with 41 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah, it was a great output. Jalen Brunson, 24 points, 6 rebounds, or 6 assists, 3 rebounds. RJ Barrett, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. That's about all from the Knicks of any value. And then you got Giannis with a monster game, 35 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. He was crazy today. Dame was a little bit slow, but he looks like he's just kind of filling in his role now as the second fiddle. And he just looks a lot more comfortable in the system than I think he did at the start. I think when Giannis goes
He
off,
shot
especially,
he shot 61% today.
well, yeah, when Giannis goes off, it's just Dame time. Like Giannis was in foul trouble late in the second quarter, and Dame just took over for like 4 minutes. He just was like bucket after bucket. He would have scored like 10 or 12 points in a couple of minutes. So I think he's just finding his groove. Malik Beasley was nice, 18 points. Bobby Portis, 13 points off the bench. Little campaign cameo, 12 points,
Little
2 assists,
campaign.
2 rebounds. Yeah, it was just a nice, well-rounded game. I think they're starting to look pretty comfortable with themselves. Bit of a smoky for this fabulous in-season tournament that we have. What do you think, mate?
Look, I like the Bucks. A couple of ones that I've been looking at that have been getting off the wire, and of course you guys have been listening anyway. But Chris Middleton's been dropped. Chris Middleton and Malik Beasley both sort of scored very well today. You get some peripherals with Middleton, though, 7 assists. You don't get that with Beasley, but he did score a few extra points. But shooting 50% and 54%, 6 of 10 from 3 for Malik Beasley was really nice. I do just want to shout out RJ Barrett with 23 points, 8 rebounds today. Pretty serviceable from a guy that, if you made the mistake of drafting him, might be a little sell high window.
Ooh. I don't know. I'm a big RJ fan, and the Knicks have looked good. I think they've won 7 of their last 9 games.
But how's RJ been through that?
I don't know. I'm still pretty high on RJ. Like he's still their third guy, like to go to. So obviously you got Brunson who's on fire. You got Randall who's just hot and cold, and then RJ's kind of that swing man guy who you can give the ball and he can get a bucket. Yeah, look at his value for sure, but for me, he's a keeper. I just like his long-term project.
So RJ is the 168th ranked player, scored 16, 15, 15, 23. The outliers I've found is that he only gets like a couple of rebounds a game. He's got himself 8 today. Only had a couple of turnovers today. He played elevated minutes compared to what he's been playing. Look, I think that he's inefficient at the best of times and pretty shit fantasy player.
Well, we'll see, mate. We'll see. We'll see if Ian's team, which is named after the great Ian O'Brien, will strive and win the chip for you. How's that?
Let's leave that alone. Let's delve into Phoenix versus the Lakers, and in the other IST game, and the Lakers have moved on 106, 103 today. Look, Devin Booker, 11 rebounds, 21.6 assists, but 7 turnovers. That hurts a lot.
I'm actually really curious what you think of Devin Booker and the role that he's got in Phoenix. Obviously, they don't have a point guard. Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, the likes of Okogie and stuff are just there to spread the floor. It's just the Booker and Durant show, and it seems like Durant's kind of taken the mantle of being that man. I thought Booker was gonna really step it up this year, but he's kind of just finding his groove as a facilitator in this Phoenix team. So, I mean, he's been doing a good job. Like if you actually look at him in the system and how they play, like he does break down defenses and find the open shot. But yeah, it's a bit of a trial period, isn't it? Like, how's he actually going to go as a point guard in the finals?
I mean, this is a fantasy sports podcast, and he's scoring 27 points, 8.2 assists. I would say fucking great. He got 11 rebounds today, got 10 rebounds in his last game. Like, I would say Booker's almost a better fantasy player than Durant is at the moment, especially at his age. I know we've had some injury concerns with Booker to start the year, but I reckon as we get towards the end of the year, maybe there's a few more restings and stuff for Durant. He's had 5.7 assists and he's been scoring at 31 points per game. But I just really like what Booker brings. And I've got Booker in a couple comps and I'll be looking to acquire him in more, I think.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got Booker as well. And yeah, he's been great. I think his potential this year with that team is just,
through the roof. So no need to say more.
I hate talking about the Lakers winning, but LeBron, 40 minutes, 31 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 5 steals. Masterclass.
Man, he's just invincible. Like, I don't know. I look at him today and I'm like, what is this guy doing, man? Like, second time I've said this, I'm a punting man. But I looked at it today and like I was just like LeBron most points, 350 or whatever. And I was like, he's playing less minutes. He's like 50. Like he's so old. And then I just watch him in the clutch. He just gets buckets on buckets. Like he can just do this for years. Like, I don't know. Do you see his game, digressing, or do you can't see it?
It has to at some stage, but I reckon for the last 3 or 4 years, I've said that it has to start popping back, and it doesn't seem to. Like, played 40 minutes today. Just goes to show that the Lakers care about the IST. I thought they would have been playing against the Kings, like the Beam, rest in peace. But I reckon they'll be all right against the Pelicans, and they'll be playing in a final. Look, probably should shout out Anthony Davis, 27 and 15. I do feel that there's an opportunity to trade for him as well, considering people think that he's got glass knees and you can get off. But get off. But I reckon I haven't had any bites chasing down Anthony Davis yet.
Yeah, and yeah, I think AD is a good buy low option just because it's like what you said. Everybody thinks that he's just going to go down at any time. He's a bit like Kawhi. Those guys are everybody's just scared shitless that at any time they're just going to be gone for the season. AD seems to be more dramatic. Like he just seems to go down 7 times a game, and then he's just clutching at something. You're just like, oh no, like is this really happening? But the real hero of today was the big boy Austin Reeves. I don't know if you watched the game, but I did, and they were up 3 with like 20 seconds to go. Austin Reeves gets the ball and just hits a clutch 3 just to drain it for the Lakers. So, well done.
I do an NBA podcast. Of course, I watched it. But look, 20 points today. He was definitely the best of the bench unit, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's their spark. He's like that Malik Monk type. Just gets a bit of instant offense, starts things for their second unit, and can also play with the first unit. So yeah, I don't know. He's an interesting one. Yeah, I guess you'd be happy if you have him because he does hit that 15 to 20 point mark quite a lot, and he can get a couple rebounds, some assists a game. But yeah, essentially Lakers. Let's move on. It's just the Bron and AD show, isn't it?
We've got some other games to delve into, but some interesting facts I kind of want to delve into. And of course, Anthony Davis played a lot today. Christian Wood did not play coach's decision. Jackson Hayes, 9 minutes. When Anthony Davis is healthy, Christian Wood being 20% owned, he shouldn't be. But let's head into, I suppose, our game preview.
He's heating up.
Mate, when it comes to tomorrow, we've got plenty of games to go ahead with, but let's go on with the Magic and the Cavs. Should be a really good matchup to start the game. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking at from the Magic or the Cavs?
I just picked up this guy in one of our leagues, and I actually had him in the other league that we're in as well. But man, Cole Anthony, like, what has happened to this guy? Like, he's just found himself. Third time I've said this, but I'm a punting man. I got on this guy at $81 at the start of the season for sixth man of the year. He's now down to third favorite, and he's $9. So, because the Magic are winning, he knows his role, and he's just instant offense in that six-man role. He's one that I've really liked. Like, he looks really, really comfortable this year. His game's picked up. The Magic are good, which is just strange because they don't really have the roster to be this good. I don't know if it's sustainable. But yeah, from that game, it's really Cole Anthony. How about you, mate?
Yeah, can I just have a bit of a chat about the fact that Wendell Carter Jr. and Markel Fultz are still out? There's still no timeline for Markel Fultz, and I hate the Ducks and Drakes that Orlando have been playing with us. Like, they made it sound like Markel Fultz, it was a minor injury and he'd be back shortly. I wonder if I would have had, like, your Suggs. He wasn't very well owned. Your Suggs and your man there back in my team a bit earlier. If they were just honest about the fact that that Fultzy would be, out for a longer period of time. I just hate that from an organization.
Look, mate, if there's one thing about NBA, it's that they should be honest. So I think you should write a letter to the Orlando Magic, and they'll probably take note from the Insight Fantasy Sports podcast down in Australia.
I've actually been using ChatGPT to write a few of my letters, so it would actually sound quite professional too. Which
we got a man
is
on
not one of my
Inside, Big Joe
strong
Ingles,
suits.
but he's unfortunately robbing that organization of $17 million a year for 1.3 points a game or whatever it is.
Yeah. Let's look. There's not too much to look at from Cleveland. I believe Caris LeVert is out, which means maybe a bump from one of your other guys, maybe a Struce. Some people like that looking to play. Craig Porter Jr. has sort of dropped out of relevance after getting 25, 27, 35 minutes those 4 or 5 games ago. But let's head into what I didn't think would be the toilet bowl, but it's now becoming the toilet bowl with the Detroit Pistons versus the Memphis Grizzlies in the Motor City.
What's
the over under on how much you could get a ticket for this game? Do you reckon it's $1 or
no? I reckon $4.50.
You reckon $4.50 would get you in?
Yeah, you can watch Jaren Jackson Jr. for that.
Courtside?
Mate, like, I don't know, like, Memphis have a lot of injuries at the moment. A bit, I suppose, like one of those years where the Golden State Warriors in the middle of their dynasty had some really big injuries. What are you laughing
I
at me
cannot
for,
believe
Morel?
this man just drops. This Grizzlies man right here, the Matrix, just drops. Yeah, the Grizzlies. It's just like one of those years from the Warriors dynasty where they just had a few injuries, and mate, this team has done nothing, right? They've done nothing. And this year, they've had like 1 or 2 injuries, and they're just shit. So, look, Memphis, you had a good 6 months.
We've got Marcus Smart. We've got Luke Kennard, who I've actually heard him called the good Kevin Huerter. We've got Ja Moran out. We've got Steven Adams out. Jake LaRavia's out. We've got fucking Brandon Clark out. We've got Killian.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You just named 8 players from that roster that wouldn't get a minute on my Kings team. So let's just move on here. Who do you think is relevant in Detroit? And I'm actually really curious as a Grizzlies fan, who do you think is going to win this game?
Is there a way that they could both lose? Because I think there's a chance.
We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Mate, I do think that maybe a Derrick Rose or somebody like that could be relevant if you're looking for a stream. But the fact that there's 11 games on today, I don't think you're going to need to stream. Sandy Dama, I suppose, off the bench has been getting a fair few minutes. Probably a better role for that there. But in Detroit, I think Bojan Bogdanovic should be owned in every league.
Yeah, 100%. I actually like his game quite a lot. He's got a really, really nice game, and he's probably, I don't know what his contract is, but he definitely should be auditioning, putting up buckets to try to get out of Detroit to a good team, because he would
The
be.
best thing about Detroit is the road out of it.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. And Memphis will be riding out of that with a big L tomorrow. So my prediction is Detroit by 15 plus.
Okay, cool. Good chat. Let's have a look at the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Washington Wizards. And yeah, look, if I'm not getting any luck in Memphis, I'm going to follow my boy Tyus Jones.
I want to know the over-under, how many times you have said either Tyus or Trey Jones in 1 year. I think it's over 3,000.
I think that they're really good at basketball, so I'm going to watch them. Look, it's hard. Like, so Jordan Poole's going to be playing. You've got Denny Avdia, who should be owned, but not much else from Washington. It's going to be a little bit of a pumping. Kelly Oubre, there's rumors that he could be on his way back.
Yeah, he's off the injury list. I just looked at it today. Looked for some streaming options.
So he's going to
for
play.
tomorrow. Yeah, so yeah, he's someone that could be worthy of a pickup, especially against the Wizards, who don't play any defense. I do feel sorry for Tyus Jones. Like, he's the type of player, I think, who actually needs a good system around him to be a good functioning basketball player. And then when you watch the Wizards play, it's literally the opposite of what he needs. So his stock, his value, I think, is pretty low, just because of the crap he has to be around and the lowest of the lowest IQ of the basketball players, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. But
Can you riddle me this in Philly, right? So Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris should be owned. Kelly Oubre Jr. is coming in as a relevant option. He was really good at the start of the year. But does this affect Melton?
I don't think so. Surely they're different players, right? Like D'Anthony Melton, what they've been doing a little bit more is he's been spot up shooting, and Joel Embiid's been breaking down defenses, and Melton's just been on fire from three. So Oubre is a little bit of that. I get that, but I think they're two players who are pretty different in what they do. Melton can play make as well, which is good off the bench, but Oubre can be in that starting lineup as well, and just provide a bit more spacing.
Mate, let's go to the next one, and we've got the Miami Heat against Toronto up there in Ontario, Canada, Canada Air. But it looks like Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and Haywood Highsmith are all ruled out. Look, maybe look for a Kyle Lowry to get some minutes. Your Duncan Robinson's going to be okay. The new JJJ is going to get some minutes. Maybe like a Jovic or a Kevin Love. Again, I'm not really looking at streams for this game, but that could even mean really good things for Toronto.
yeah, I mean, I've been pretty high on Toronto this whole year. I'm really surprised at their record. Actually, it's 9-11, because I feel like they've been pretty good. But maybe I'm just looking at individual stat scores instead of looking if they're getting wins or losses. But yeah, my boy Triple J, I've actually kept him. I haven't dropped him, and I've been glad I've done that. He's getting really, really, really good minutes, even if he's not starting. And with Toronto, I remember you said that Pascal was really declining and he was not going to come back up, but that has changed and he has come back up. So he is their main guy again. Scotty Barnes has dropped off a little bit. So is Schroeder. So it is the Siakam show. But yeah, there definitely is a lot of streaming options tomorrow from both teams.
I'm glad Pascal listens to the podcast and he's come out and shown out to prove me wrong. But Scotty's actually been the 9th ranked player when it comes to Yahoo, probably due to the fact that, he went and got 3 blocks a couple games ago. He got 5 steals in the last game. Just some of those things that not every player can do. I've been really enjoying being a Dennis Schroeder owner. I think OG Anunoby's at a little bit of a buy low, but it's hard. Like, it's been the Barnes or Siakam show. Yeah, it's been rough being an Anunoby owner.
Yeah, you almost want him to get traded. There was rumors that he might go to the Kings or find his way on another team. So
Says who?
Is Big Herbie Bull down in Melbourne. Yeah, I'd love him. So OG, I know all you boys listen to the pod. So OG, you're welcome in Sac 10, mate. Welcome you to Open Arms. You can replace my other best friend, Harry B, who's just been absolutely shit this season, and it's just really pissed me off. So get the fuck out of town, Harry Barnes.
I have no idea how we turned Miami Heat into Toronto into a Sacramento Circle jerk, but let's go look at the Brooklyn Nets versus the Atlanta Hawks. How are they going to stop Trey? Because Ice Trey has been absolute fire.
I don't think they will. They got something to run against him, I guess. They got a bit of length with Bridges. Who else? They got Cam Johnson. So,
but yeah, it's the Trey show. Trey's been on fire lately.
Anything else of relevance you think from the Hawks or the Nets side? Not really. Like, Cam Johnson's been a little bit better than I thought he would be.
And Bridges is kind of lifted, but he's a bit inconsistent to be that top 15, top 20 fantasy player. And then Hawks, it's just the Trey show, isn't it?
Yeah, I sort of expected a bit more peripherals with DeAndre Hunter, but it hasn't come with Jalen Johnson injured. Probably Bogdanovic. I had to practice in the mirror about how many times we were going to say Bogdanovic in this podcast. But 23, 18, 14, 14 in his last couple games. He's been averaging 1.5 steals per game. Yeah, look, he's been the 89th ranked player, and it's only in 74% of teams at the moment. In 74% of comps at the moment, you should probably own Bogdanovic with Jalen Johnson out.
He's a good player. I miss him. Good old Sac days,
mate. I don't want to talk about your sack anymore, but let's go into the San Antonio Spurs versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, the surging Timberwolves.
How good they been, man? Like 15-4 for the Timberwolves.
Like, I'll remember when I picked up Cat early in one of our drafts. I think I got him at like 18 or 19. And I'm not like you. So I actually like to pick players that I like because I like to watch them, right? It's just one of those things that I have. Like, I prefer to pick somebody I enjoy watching. Cat, I just don't.
What do you mean?
Don't like him as a person, but he's been a beast this year. So you know what? It's worked out. Timberwolves are just going crazy. They're looking real good. 15-4, and then the other side of it, the Spurs are 3-16. Can you believe that? Like, they were in games at the start of the year. And can you believe they've won the same amount of games as the Wizards?
What if they get, and look, I just finished the NBL podcast. So what if they get themselves the French twin towers of Victor Wembanyama and Alexandre Sarr on their team as the starting power forward and center? That would be a French pairing not seen since Tony Parker and Frog's Legs.
I don't know if I can compare it to that, mate. But look, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. You and your boy have been doing really good with the NBL this year. What's he projected to go in the upcoming draft?
Second.
Wow. So who's number one in front of him?
I don't know. I'm the NBL guy.
Oh well, he's going to be second. I actually heard he was going number one, or it was top
Yeah,
three.
well, I do. Yeah. Look, it does look like top 3. I just think with how many minutes he's been playing, I just can't really see him going number 1. But yeah, the last projection I looked at was second. So
It'd be really crazy. That length at the center and power forward. Saar looks really good, and he can shoot.
and
Man.
point guard.
Like I reckon he's a better shooter than Wemby. You seen this guy shoot?
Yeah,
He just doesn't miss.
I have.
Doesn't
I
miss.
actually watched him earlier. I actually watched him in person earlier on in the year. He's lengthy. He's huge. He's like a big baby. Like he's so young. He's so huge.
But
And
why
then
would
he's
he
out
go to
there with
Perth?
these.
Why would he go to Perth?
Because you don't get paid to play college.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you go to like the Hawks or what's the other worst team, Adelaide, and just get the ball every single time?
You
Just like what
don't
LaMelo-
like us. Trenton Flowers was a projected lottery pick, and now it looks like like in his last draft, it looked like he was going to go undrafted because he went and played for a poor organization like the Adelaide 36ers. At least Perth blood these guys. So, yeah, no, it was the right decision.
All right,
You're the NBL guy, so
I'll leave it up to you.
Let's have a look at the Charlotte Hornets, and LaMelo Ball is going to be reevaluated in a little while. Charlotte Hornets playing against the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White should be rostered in every format possible.
yep, I agree. As well as Scary Terry. And who else you got? PJ Washington's even picking it up a little bit.
There was a lot of concerns that Miles Bridger was taking his minutes. And it seems like the Bulls,
dropped
like they're just
PJ.
resting, or yeah, I know that they're resting, or everybody's injured from the Bulls. So look at the Bulls injury
report and see who you can pick up. Because I don't know what they're doing, but
seems like they might be semi-tanking already at the quarter mark of the season.
I think with Levine injured, Kobe White has been really good. I've actually picked up Desomnu in some leagues. Since Levine's been injured, 24 minutes, 39 minutes, 33 minutes, 10, 14, and 15. They're from Ayo. Yeah, one of the great ones. 6 assists in the last game, 6 rebounds in the last game. Only a couple of turnovers. Ayo Desomnu has been a guy that in deeper leagues you could add.
Yep.
I agree. I really liked him coming into the season, but it seemed like Kobe White was getting his minutes over him, which I didn't think would happen. But yeah, with injuries, and that comes opportunity. And if he gets opportunities, like he's a really nice basketball player. So definitely a streamer option.
Mate, you and I played 2K for $20 last night, and the Houston Rockets absolutely lit it up. Tari Eason with 17 points. He's playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're not delving too much into the Josh Giddey situation, but it seems like he's becoming more and more into the clear. But look, who do you like from Houston, and who do you like from OKC?
Man, Sengun, honestly, is looking like
such a good cheap option this year. I think if you picked him up, you'll be really happy. You would have picked him up where you got Jabari Smith Jr. and Jabari's just been shit out.
Walker Kessler.
Or Walker Kessler, and Sengun has just picked it up, and
he's been watching Domantas Sabonis videos, I think, because he's really learning from the master 5-man. So
Mini Jokic,
five-man. That is not Jokic. The master is actually Sabonis. So yeah, Sengun is really, really nice. He gave me nightmares last night in 2K when you beat me. playing for nothing.
Who did you play as?
I can't remember. Was it the Cleveland Browns or something?
Best team in the comps?
Yeah, maybe.
Look, Jalen Green's actually been shooting with really good efficiency up until the last game. I expect him probably to bounce back.
Yeah, Jalen Green's nice. I don't know what to say about him. He's my Filipino brother. He's a chucker, but yeah, he's starting to look like he's settling into his game and starting to make the right shots, getting a little bit more efficient. Maybe with a bit more stability at Houston has come a little bit more of a calm head in Jalen Green.
I have been sort of finding myself attracted to a Lugens Dort in the last couple, I suppose, weeks. He's played 27 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 28 minutes, and 33 minutes. He hasn't been very efficient, but the opportunity seems to be there for him. Not too many guys have had 50 pieces, and Lou Dort has. Yeah, look, I see his roster going down. I do think if you really need a stream option, Lou Dort could probably be your guy because Josh Giddey's been playing, he played 17 minutes in his last game. We all expected Josh Giddey to, I suppose, have this breakout season. He's had other stuff going on, but as the 119th ranked player, they seem a bit more comfortable going towards Lou Dort or someone like that.
Lou Dort has dropped a 50 piece. I don't know if I've drank too many Heinekens or if I'm just hearing things because that cannot be true. When did Lou Dort drop a 50 piece?
Let me have a look. Lou Dort career. Sorry, it was 42, but it was huge. It was the best 42 you've ever. It was the best 42 you've ever seen in your life against Utah back in 2021. And I'll say they come with 7 rebounds and 4 steals, shooting 51%. So it was elite.
Look, I don't have too much faith in Lou Dort. His shot is a little bit too inconsistent for me. And I think the Thunder are crying out for some outside shooting. Around SGA and Giddey. They've got Isaiah Joe, who's really, really nice. But Lou Dort, yeah, he is that guy who can spread the floor, but it's just too inconsistent for me. Like, I don't feel confident in his shot. When you said he dropped a 50 piece, I was more confident, and then you've told me it's now 42. So that just means nothing to me now. Yeah.
It was the best 42 you've ever seen in your life. But let's duck over to American Airlines Center in Dallas. I believe they're building a statue of Derek Lively II out the front at the moment. After last game, after playing 39 minutes, scored 20 and 16 with 7 blocks. Derek Lively should be rostered.
Yep, I agree. Rookie though, so he's a little bit inconsistent. So he's a little bit hit and miss, just like Wemby. But yeah, definitely a rostered in every league. You should have him. When you look at Magic, you get 10 points just by standing under the ring, pretty much if you're a big man. So if he learns how to play his role with the Magic Man, then yeah, sky's the limit. Who else you thinking from the Jazz?
I was just going to say, I'm hitting panic stations a bit with Kyrie, the 72nd ranked player. I know he's been a bit banged up. I've been trying to trade out of him because I know he's been playing those mid 30 minutes when he's been playing, but he just hasn't been good fantasy-wise next to Luka.
I think he's just reaching that point where he doesn't really care. And regular season games and whatever it is, he's just in for it when the big games are, really. So, yeah, he's one that scares me a little bit. But he's definitely a buy low option, so I might send you a trade in the next couple of minutes.
Please do. Please do. Make sure you include Keontae George from Utah. I think his stocks are on the rise. Laurie Markkinen, Jordan Clarkson, and Kelly Olynyk out of this one. you're going to see some people like, let me get this right, Simone Fontecchio. And like he played 35 minutes and 34 minutes in the last couple games, and nobody can even pronounce his name. I think that he should be an ad with all those guys out.
And I think look for a guy like Colin Sexton. He's one that is just
Doesn't play very good basketball.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. Like, let's just admit it. But he's one of those players that is just like in this type of situation. And I haven't even got any of his stats, so this is all just me freeballing. But in this type of situation, he is the type of guy who'd be like, "Give me the fucking ball, let me score this basket, and let me get on a run, get 20 points a game for 3 games, whatever, and just try to be the man in a G League team, right?" Similar to me, I would definitely have the same type of mentality, and I think you would too, Maddie. So
I'm more of a facilitator. I do find myself playing 40 minutes a game due to my peak physical fitness. But look, Colin Sexton, sorry, not me. If you want to go through my highlights, they're on Glory League. I'll find them. I'll individually send them all out. I'll do a little bit of a mixtape. If you've got a run for me, look, I think I could probably get a run for the Perth Wildcats at the moment. But look, Colin Sexton, 30 minutes in his last game, 25 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds.
there you go.
Again, that's what you want out of somebody on your bench.
And just a quick one. I was looking through odds, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is the favorite for 6th man of the year. Why is that happening? He's injured, and I know he's balling a little bit, but I don't see it.
Is it 1983 and it's his dad?
Maybe I looked up 1983 odds.
Okay, cool. I thought you might have.
Thanks.
Portland Trailblazers versus the Golden State Warriors. Look, Portland is an interesting team, realistically. Scoot Henderson's been working his way back into the team. Aiton's been really good fantasy-wise. Scoot Henderson hasn't been as good as Brogdon has been because Brogdon's been absolutely elite. I do think there is a small window as to where Portland decide to either trade Brogdon to a contender and he becomes the backup for injury cover, or like they just decide to start tanking and just bring Scoot in.
Yeah, and look for those trades to happen. Another guy that I think is a possibility to be traded, who's really, really high value now, is Jeremy Grant. So he's just been crazy good this year. I've had him in leagues, and yeah, he's just been really, really consistent and really, really good across the board, kind of being that main guy there. So yeah, look for that. I'm really curious what you think about the Golden State Warriors. Do you agree with everything that everybody's saying, that they're done, the dynasty's over, similar to what your Grizzlies are, the dynasty's done? What do you think, mate? Do you think it's all over, or do you think or this is what I actually think you may be thinking, because we sometimes think alike, is do you think there's a few buy low options for the Golden State Warriors, like a Draymond, a Clay?
Look, I've found Draymond actually on some waiver wise. He's only 80% rostered at the moment. But he sort of, we do find the ball coming to Draymond at the top of the key in there, and he has been the facilitator, which means, you know, with your Steph Curry, outside of the last game, and actually over the course of the year, he's only had 4.7 assists throughout the year. You found Draymond being that facilitator. He's been really good. Klay Thompson sort of found himself in a situation much like Chris Middleton, where he's an older bloke, but I do expect him to have some really big implications once it comes, because they're big time players. I do expect them to be people that have some really big games in the playoffs. But Wiggins has been ordinary. I think Golden State will limp themselves into the postseason, but they'll make some noise, much like they have knocked out the Grizzlies in the past.
anytime you got an S Curry, man, that's named Stefan, not Seth. Then you're just scared. I have nightmares about this team. Like honestly, as a Kings man, this team just always beats us. Steph is just insane. So it doesn't take much around him for them to be decent. But in saying that, I think that it's a little bit worrying that once Clay digresses, which he has, and regressed, then the biggest thing that everybody says about Golden State is, and I've always said it, like Draymond, if he was on another team, he would have not been what Draymond is. Like he wouldn't be what he was at Sacramento or Lakers or whatever it is. He just found the perfect situation with so much talent and like the right players around him. Now you're starting to see that with the games getting a little bit slower, and them all getting a bit older. And Draymond's the biggest one who takes a hit because he's got, I hate to say it, but he's got the least amount of talent out of all of them.
He's like a defensive Kevin Huerter.
If you say Kevin Huerter again, man, I'll punch the screen. Anyway,
Mate,
we move on to the
Denver
mighty
Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Taking on
Shout out to Rob. We move on.
What do you think, mate? Clippers? Who do you like? I'm high on the Clippers, man. But I think that the Clippers have some instability in terms of who scores the bucket. I still think they're trying to figure that out. Seems like one day Paul George is going for 40, and the next day he's going for 2 points, and Kawhi's going for 45. How do you see all the players meshing, and how do you see it, like, for us fantasy owners? What do you think? There's any buy lows? Do you think there's any sell highs? I'm curious what you think about the Clippers.
So Kawhi's had some negative impact earlier on in the year, and everybody was trying to work everything out. But in his last 4 games, he scored above that 20 points every game. He's got over 7 rebounds in every game, got 7 assists in the last game, and he's got about 1.6 steals. He has been the 33rd ranked player. I do think there's a buy low window for Kawhi. Everybody's worried about him being injured. But as Mickey Dell has actually pointed out, like a lot of that has been rest and major injury. He's actually played a lot of games. Look, James Harden seems to be able to put it together again in the last little while. He's been assisting the ball really well. Of course, we've seen him as an assist leader in the past. But I think unless your name is Paul George, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, you don't really want anybody on this team. Russell Westbrook, if you own him, you're probably holding him. Zubac, if you own him, you're probably holding him. Look, maybe you could stream a Norman Powell or a Terrence Mann, but basically you want to be one of the big 3 in LA outside of the Lakers.
And do you think James Harden is a buy low candidate right now?
No, I think it was a sell high candidate about 2 weeks ago. I've sold out of him. I have bought him in some leagues and then traded out of him again. I think that this is what he is now. He is a 20 point per game scorer with 8 assists per game. He will get some rebounds. He will get some steals because he sort of gambles on that steal. He's not a good defender, but he does manage to get some steals. But I think if you want 20 points and 8 assists and you're trading that sort of value, you get James Harden.
I agree, mate. I agree. Let's move on to the mighty DN Nuggets. Any notables?
Not really. I actually hate Denver outside of a Jokic and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is questionable. If he doesn't play, Reggie Jackson should be owned. Aaron Gordon's been pretty ordinary. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope could probably be owned. But look, Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Murray, again, a really good big 3. Aaron Gordon was good to start. He sort of dropped off, and there's not much else there.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to add. All I can say is, like, if
Denver didn't have Jokic. Would they be the Memphis Grizzlies? Just no talent.
Well, that was kind of like if you take 7 people out of your roster. That's what you have with Memphis at the moment. So Jokic is actually, and if you've seen his size, he actually weighs as much as 7 of Memphis's players. So, but let's leave that there. Do we want to delve into some transaction trends real quick before we knock it off?
Let's do it.
Targets acquired.
Mate, we're going to gloss over this really quickly because we've gone OT a little bit. DiVincenzo's been dropped. Cam Reddish has been dropped. Okogie's been dropped. All things that you would expect. Derek Jones Jr. has actually been added in a lot of leagues. He has been added in 2,000 leagues in the last day. What do you make about that with the makeup of Dallas's lineup?
I don't get it. Is it because of the Kelly Oubre injury? Sorry, Dallas's lineup, right?
Yeah,
I
Dallas,
just mixed
man.
that up.
He did
just mixed
score.
that up.
He has scored 15, 16, and 24 in his last 3 games. He hasn't been getting much outside of that. He's only 8% rostered in the league that I'm in when I searched this, but look, he's been all right, but he's just beside a bunch of really good players.
I don't know. Is it just because the in-season tournament is going on and people are finding streaming options, looking for a little bit of value when there's less games? Because it seems to be that's
There's
a bit
heaps
of
of games on tomorrow.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though. There's less games for the week. So are people just trying to find a little bit more value? I don't see it. I'm like you. I don't really see it with him.
No.
Um,
I'm with you. Killian Hayes has actually been added in a lot of leagues. I know that we looked at Detroit Pistons and we made fun of them, but they are playing a pretty ordinary Grizzlies side. And in 28 minutes the other night, he scored 23, 4 and 3, had 13, 6 and 3. He's been getting 1.2 steals per game. Look, he's played over 22 minutes in his last 3 games. Killian Hayes, anyone?
I think he's an all right option. He's a look. Just I've had him in the past, and he's been really, really serviceable. All that you want from these type of guys that you're getting in and out is looks, and he seems to get quite a lot of looks because he's got the ball in his hands. So he does shoot that threes sometimes where they drop off and they sag off on him because they don't think he's a good 3-point shooter. So that's all you really want with those type of guys. You just want them to shoot a lot of shots, and then 1 in every 2 or 3 games they'll go off for a 20 piece.
The only other noticeable one, Bam Adebayo's out. People have been adding Orlando Robinson. In his last start, 29 minutes, 16 points, shooting, wait for it, 7 of 11, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I could see him being a good stream option if you need a center.
Yeah, get him in, streamer, while Bam's injured. That's what you can ask for is someone to start, get starter minutes. And most of the time, it's like a nice read. If he goes to another team where he's a starter, they're going to produce big numbers. Not quite as big as those really, really good superstar players, but they're going to be really serviceable and they're going to surprise you. So, again, opportunity equals what you need.
He's only 2% owned, and with great power comes great responsibility. So I think we should wrap this one up. Love the haircut, Herbie. Thanks for popping on. Look, are you still feeling like lighting the beam?
Nah, mate. Don't worry about lighting the beam. The in-season tournament's stupid ever since the Kings got knocked out and the Pacers have been going crazy. So let's not light the beam today. We'll wait till, when is it, NBA Finals? What's that, July or whenever it is? We'll wait till then to light the beam.
All right, man. You've listened to an Insight Fantasy Sports podcast. Cheerio.